Hey everybody, this your girl Snow, Sanovia Reynolds-Parks, and we are getting ready to let's talk. Let's talk. It was a big day today. I know. We had an impeachment hearing today, right? Impeached at the House for the second time. I know. We gotta hold somebody accountable. This is how the Constitution works. We do not allow domestic terrorism to take place on our land. It does not matter who it is. So if you engaged in any of that, be mindful that yes, we do have our amendment right to freedom of speech, but it comes at a consequence. It comes at a consequence when people can't think for themselves and then they act like children, you know? That's what I saw on Capitol Hill was some grown people taking a lead from a Twitter account, and they did what children do, and it was treason. That's just what that is. It's happy smiley day face. We're getting ready to have the inauguration in just a few more days. And again, like I said yesterday, if you wanted to participate in the virtual parade, you could submit your video, go to the website. I did mine yesterday, but I had to go back and listen to it again. Speech, tone, and diction was important. I really didn't know what to say. Quick 30 seconds. So I did that again today. Thank you so much for listening. I have so much that I could talk about. Monday, I was at the Gary Chamber of Commerce meeting. And a lot of you may or may not know, I have family that come from Gary. Gary's one of those places I used to go visit, growing up. And I have a very strong tie to Tennessee Street. You know, Tennessee Street means something to me. So every time I go into Gary, I make sure I drive down Tennessee Street, knock on the neighbor's door, say hello, who I am, my mama's daughter. Oh, how you doing, Novi? Type of thing. What we doing with your auntie house? Eyesore. You know? This happens all over in Black communities, in communities of color all across the nation where we don't give back, gerrymandering. Some people don't understand running for office, what it means, being a public servant, and that you have to help out your constituents to the best of your ability, not necessarily to the best of their ability, because they've elected you into position so you could do the work, the people's work for them, because they don't know. So I do get very disheartened as I drive down Broadway when I go visit, and to watch the community change. Because remember, Gary and Broadway was the bomb in the 70s, in the 80s, commercial shopping, hair shops, clothing stores, food, restaurants. It's now, what they call that? A desert zone. I don't believe they have a grocery store. They have a fresh market, and they have to rebuild their community. So do a lot of communities all across the nation. But again, I go where I am asked and where I am accepted. So that is where I was at on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I rolled past. It's virtual reality, right? Got to get y'all up to speed on what's going on, because in the Southland they're not gonna tell you anything, you know. So, gang, we're still working the humanity forward and the income movement. Now, if you haven't heard about the income movement, hold on for 1 second, because the kids be forgetting that I be going live sometimes. Hold on, children, please. Mommy's live. Thank you. Yes. And we're going to talk about education because, again, I am a teacher advocate as well. And this one, yes. We got to get them right, get them tight, don't sit still, not moving, and not talking sometimes. Because sometimes mommy needs a break. Yes. So I went to the income movement meeting. The income movement was the $2,000. It is the UBI. It is getting your legislation and your representatives to speak on your behalf. Again, where I might lay my head, they may not need the $2,000. But over 10 miles to the east of me, those residents do need the $2,000. How are they to stimulate their economy if they don't have anything to stimulate the economy with? and the haves and the have-nots, the haves. Y'all wrong for that. Judging people's skill sets is the divide. Everyone does not have the same skill set to be able to have the same job that you might have. And then what are they to do? Because again, factory workers are going to be null and void anymore. Technology is going to do all of that. Robots is taking a lot of jobs, and so is artificial intelligence with algorithms to our computers. So if anything of those manual labor jobs, which I'm going to name them off for you, forklift operator, welder, they still teaching that with the kids because, again, they need to learn electric work. How to do the wiring is the next field of study. I'm calling it. I'm going to prophesize for you guys. Welding and being able to do circuits and this here to make the positive and negatives do what it need to do for computers and stuff. That is the next thing. Our school district is now, following some STEM type of curriculum without saying it that they are problem. And they have a lot of programs that the children can come out of high school knowing how to do and be certified in it before they graduate from high school. Because college isn't for everyone. Everyone does not want to go to college. Mine said he was not going to college. And I said, well, what you going to do? We going to the military. You going to follow in your father's footsteps? Because at 18, I went off to school to go learn and live life. So that's what I want them to do. Go learn, live life under the parameters of a college and a university because they are responsible for our children when we send them off to school, correct? And again, I know these videos don't be for everyone, and that's quite all right. That's all right. So the income movement, they are generating letters, and their phone banking is really good. It is so good. When you enter into their phone banking system based on your zip code, the phone numbers that you call are directly to your representatives and your senators' offices. So that was great data mining. Again, we Grassroots. So they just came up with these lists like within this last year, right? Yeah, you started running last year. So because I don't like to do phone banking, but this one was so much better. Really, it took you directly to the representative's desk. And if they were at work, which they should be, right? They get sworn in today. They've been working. He answered the phone. I read the script and asked, was Robin Kelly a supporter of UBI, the $2,000 stimulus relief fund? And the answer back was yes. Yay! And it was getting ready to go down and call the next person down the list. So again, if this information is not correct, then that's what's coming out of the office, and that's all I can go on, and that's what I'm to report to you. So it is good to know that Congresswoman Robin Kelly is all for the $2,000 relief within my community. But then I saw another community leader give his opinion, and he does no longer have an office, say that he wasn't for it. Well, this is why we divided and we can't get nothing together. If the highest office said she's for it, and then you here, where your office is here local with a parking lot in it, for real. She's here, universal basic income for all, healthcare for all, because everybody don't make the same. Everybody don't live the same. And if we're going to rebuild after everything we've just experienced, coronavirus, where people lost their jobs by no fault of their own, having to restart their lives over again at whatever age they are, their jobs are gone. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Yes. And the middle management, us, who raised children, who went to higher academia, the first thing they asked me is, what have I been doing for the last 6 years? Again, I can't say raising my children and supporting the family by being the stay-at-home, chasing the dream from time to time, non-union job. No one really wants to talk about to the person who really knows what they're talking about. So with community outreach, the income movement has a really good outreach tool that is top notch. And again, you only have to spend a few minutes. They're only going to call those who they need to call. Again, the state senators, the state representative, they call like within your zip code. So I only had to make 5 calls yesterday. and I'm done. And if I want to do that every day, that's what I can do. Because as a citizen, one voice, one vote. But if they're able to answer my question, which was on the script, are you a supporter of the income movement and the $20,000 cash relief? If they say yes, then I'm just supposed to write their name down on the spreadsheet and move on to the next. There's no need for me to keep calling her because I already know where she stands. Because again, I'm in the community. I go to the meetings and I've had this conversation with them all as I was running for delegate. Let's educate some people a little bit more. When someone is running for a federal position like U.S. delegate, they trump whatever going on in your locals. Now, I'm not the one to boast. I was still learning on the go. But now I know better that I was supposed to be a little more assertive of thyself. But that's not the type of person that I am. I like to be invited in. So thank you all who invited me to speak and to come into your personal residences. And I'm going to hold that with pride and not throw you under buses. But that does not mean that I don't get to speak about the issues at hand. Like outside, there's still black ice outside. Like I told y'all, my cul-de-sac on the back end of Richard Park, y'all act like we don't live here. Sometimes. And the rest of the people that I live with, their voice ain't as loud as mine. That's why they signed my petition for me to run. Because they wanted me to be the voice of this here where I stay at. You see how that works? So, I also am still very convicted in my stance on family members and stuff. But I understand we all got to work together as a team. Yes, we do. And we need to make sure that we are saying that we all work together as a team. And sometimes new teams have to form if the current team is not doing the people's business to the best of its ability. So I'm going to keep on sitting on that some more and see where I'm led to go to next. I've been offered a few things, but again, I still have to live with you all, right? I still have to go work with your children. I still have to go to parent-teacher conference. I still have to go and be with my alumni friends. I still have to go to the north side and everywhere in between. That's what this woman still has to do. So she can't be fighting with you guys where she stay at, where her children go over here and one child's over here and one child's over there. We're so divided. So maybe times are changing, new changes, new voice, maybe new ideologies are going to get ready to change. Because again, I can't be fighting across I-57 when across I-57 is who hires this woman of color to teach their children. Let's think about that. What am I supposed to be saying over here on this side with the fist? But that's not what I see when things are implemented properly on the other side of the expressway. So let me give you an example because we're going to let's talk education today. I have a sophomore and I have a third grader. My third grader is in gifted class. So technically he's already reading the sixth grade reading level, but we're in third grade and we call him the gifted. And if you have a highly intelligent child that learns differently or they've been deemed gifted, please, I encourage you to tell them the truth because our textbooks aren't going to tell them the truth. Munchkin, baby, can you bring me your social studies book, please? And I'm only going to use this as an example because I teach 4th grade STEM. I teach 6th grade STEM, science. And some of these schools have Common Core mixing subjects and they don't get to math, right? So being the mom that I am, working with my child, doing his homework, they are on the Christopher Columbus part of the Common Core. And seeing as though the children aren't in the classroom, so someone is over them, make sure you write. We're not practicing penmanship with the kids. Again, show and do. The children repeat what they see, correct? So if she's not writing the words out on the board in her penmanship, they're not writing it down and practicing it. So I'm going to show you what third grade handwriting look like. Now I can read it. Can you read it? I know what he's trying to say because I told them where to go find it in the book. But this is why I have the problem. How European exploration affected the Americas. Okay, I was like, that's kind of a broad question. And where am I going to find that at? Knowing that we know the truth. When they came over here on the Mayflower, what did they do? What did they do? So the Mayflower's not in here. And neither are the boats that Christopher Columbus borrowed and or from. None of that is in here. But the answer to the question is Columbus builds a settlement in Hispaniola. Hispaniola. And again, unless y'all trying to rewrite the history books, this right here, I believe is Cuba or Haiti or something like that. The Caribbean is this. And Columbus didn't discover anything. At least they drew their map right. So, and we also know Columbus is not the sailor. He has like a lieutenant African-American man that read their maps for him. So instead of going east, they went west. Correct. So, they bumped into South America. They didn't tell them what they picked up when they got here. No, they didn't tell them that. And then they hit the Caribbean. But this book talks about, I'm going to tell you exactly what the book said, which was hilarious to me. Because I had to highlight it because I needed to have the child write the answer right. He explored many places. Yeah. Columbus sailed to other islands. Okay. Oh, instead of landing at the North America, right? Florida, that's not where he went. The book says instead of landing on the island off the coast of present-day Florida. He never made it here. So what are y'all getting ready to do with these books as our children have YouTube? So again, after I said, Munchkin, that is so not true. I need you to read some more. And then we saw Louis Joliet explored the Mississippi River in 1673. Okay. He explored the Great Lakes and the Mississippi River. Okay. And we not going to say that he is the person that they named the town of in Illinois, the same man that rowed the boat through the Mississippi River, the Frenchman. We just not going to talk about that in the kids' book. We just not. And I had to tell it, yeah, right in the child book, a black man. Go look it up, YouTube, because again, it's 3rd grade. But you are supposed to meet the children where they are. So I'm very disappointed that this book is, and who read the book before it was given to the children? Who said that this book was the best thing for the children? My World Interactive 3. Because again, I can understand why they went with this series if the teacher was doing this inside the classroom. Because it has all type of interactive activities to do. But they remote learning. So nobody's doing the interactive activities with the child on the Google Classroom. So I continue to be disappointed with the public schools. Henry Hudson sailed from England and the passageway to India. Okay. Okay, and look at how they rewrote it. He could not find where he was trying to go, which he was trying to get to Holland. So he couldn't get to Holland. Again, they didn't know east and west. They didn't figure out the sun and the north star to figure out the coordinates of going east to west, left or right, depending on which way they was looking, whichever way they thought the north was, is which way they went, east or west. So Henry Hudson was trying to get to Holland and couldn't find it, but he did discover a huge river in North America, and the river is called the Hudson River in New York. So he made it to America. But his claim to fame is the little Hudson River in New York is that. And again, he was trying to get to Holland everybody was trying to get to someplace else except for North America. So that's kind of also interesting. So we skip over the black migration. We skip over a lot of things to get to what did the Europeans contribute. What did Columbus contribute to the new communities? And now we know in 2021, he contributed bringing smallpox. They contributed bringing disease over on their boats. And so, again, after I had the child watch Christopher Columbus at his grade level, YouTube, because I'm not to be reading the book. That's what the teacher's supposed to do. But as an educator who taught this lesson many times, it was very disappointing to see how they talked about the indigenous people and still calling them Indians. After all of this, we've had Indigenous Peoples Day, and this book is calling them Indians still and still. So, the verbiage in the book does not meet the grade level of our children. And we should be highly upset about that. It is very watered down, and the stories in the reading book are almost made up fables if we are not going to tell the facts according to history, the way that it needs to be told. Can't keep skipping over slavery, you know. And maybe we need more educators to figure out how that story is going to be told and start writing those stories in those books. We need a new encyclopedia, because if I have to keep depending on Common Core, our children are still going to be behind the times on everything. Or maybe they're going to be the next doctor, the next teacher, the next doctor of education, while you all don't want to give President-elect to be First Lady her crown of doctor. But look at all of these people in this book. Who wrote this? Who put this together? You see this? Do you see any one person of color on this book? Who wrote this? They all got DRs in front of their name. School of Education, someplace. And curriculum development, educational coaching, curriculum and instruction. You can get a master's in that. American Studies, Stanford, Ohio State, Iowa, Asian American History. And that's it, you guys. This is what they're teaching the kids. So if you want your education to be better, and if you want your children to know more about their culture, guess what? You have to start writing books. Getting those who have reached these levels of academia. Again, instructional designer starts at master's degree. Curriculum development is a master's program. Yes, it is. Educational coaching is also a master's program. These people, individuals, highly accredited, I am so sure, have doctorates in education, and they're not people of color. So again, this is how the facts continue to get repeated to us by people who don't look like us. Some more facts. Oh, and I don't even know who picked these pictures in the books. It's supposed to be showing the children inclusion and diversity. Oh my goodness. Again, who is reading their books? Who is writing the books? So this was supposed to show volunteerism while they are giving us the food. That is not what's going on in 2021. We are giving them the food. We are helping out everybody. It don't matter. But again, if they keep putting these images, this is what our children are going to keep seeing. So that's why there has to be a stay-at-home somebody, or the children will be confused. Yes, they will. Oh, Eleanor Roosevelt was a delegate to the United Nations. Again, being a delegate is a honor, a privilege. That means that a body, a people, a community wanted her to be the voice of a lot of individuals around the world. We're talking about the United Nations. All right, woman. And that is a minority. Here's another thing that you all need to learn. Again, this was all about education. Let's talk. When we talk about minorities, and I had to ask this same question at the delegate meeting. Delegates were to have a certain type of demographic. Black male, black woman, Asian Pacificer, indigenous people, veteran, LGBTQ woman, 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 minority, woman, minority. Woman is a minority. It don't matter what color she is. So if she chooses to not to want to play with the girls with the darker hue, that's her bias. Because she is a minority. It does not matter what her race, creed, and color is. We are minorities. That's it. So we are all to be happy and proud of what Kamala Harris is getting ready to do and become the first woman of color to hold an office at the White House. Oh my gosh, we have not seen that yet since the beginning of the Republic. And we're getting ready to change all of that come January 20th, 2021. And with that also being said, the First Lady-elect is coming through the door with an education doctorate degree. So maybe we can have better education books at the Common Core level for our children to study. Because this is an insult. It's an insult to me. It's an insult to our children that y'all making them read this. And it's incomplete, very general. And I guess it is Common Core. The basics. My child isn't basic. And I know your child isn't basic. So that means we need to hold our school boards at a higher level. Because this book was basic. Don't do that to our children. Because I actually have a STEM social studies book. And it's not basic. It really tells them everything about the indigenous people, where they come from, Spain, France. You can't skip over the people from France and Spain and the Spaniards. You can't skip over all of that and then just pop up, poof, United States of America. And America was named after an Italian man, Amerigo or something like that. Don't judge me again. I'm not to read their book, but I know well enough to know to follow up behind Common Core as a parent. So that's all I have for today. Ooh, that was a lot. That was Let's Talk Education. Let's talk, educate each other on what's going on locally and in the nation. That's what I had today. So thank you so much for watching. This is Sanovia Reynolds-Parks, and this was Let's Talk. If nobody told you today that they love you, I do. If no one told you that you're special, you are. If no one told you was great, you are great. I love you. You're special. You're great. Have a blessed evening. Good night.